It's October 12th, 2017. I'm Dana Durnford, your host. Today, the nuclearproctologist.org. And you can find these videos, Fukushima Presentations, A Beautiful Girl by Dana. It's October the 12th, 2017. I guess yesterday I called it 2016. Oops, Dana. Give us a thumbs up before we get shot and rock and roll in here. Got a busy lineup for everybody today. The world of nuclear is crumbling. So is Hollywood, but nuclear is definitely crumbling. And just everybody forgot to tell the trolls, that's all. Put them in your bookmarks because subscriptions don't work, and put your windmills on the mountain and you can get rid of nuclear and coal and oil and gas because, hey, the wind blows all the time in the mountain. And don't ask the scientist that question because that's like Editor Lee. What? I'm not sure. I gotta go check it out. We gotta raise a couple of $1 million and get on a mountain, make sure Dana could be lying. No, Dana don't lie. Nothing to be gained by it. Everything to lose by it. Nothing to be proud of if you're a chicken-neck nuclear apologist this day and age. You have a beautiful country and communities and homes, and then you got to fill it up with 30 million one-ton bags. Nobody can plant anything because there's no room. Oh, and it's radioactive. We're going to get into TEPCO has to compensate a golf course. Yeah, you can't make it up. But people can only get 3,000. Golf course, few million. Protesters are protesting the transportation of fuel rods by boat. If there's an accident, the boat goes down, you radiate. So when the boat is going along, it's irradiating everything. This is why they're using the boat, because you put it on the highway, you're radiating the roads and traffic around you. On the boat, there's not so much traffic, see? You got more space around you. And then the media comes out. We're going to cover Hollywood for a few minutes, just to kick the show off. Because Hollywood is, it's under, we'll get right to it right away. Australia, the biggest production of uranium. So they're the biggest contributor to nuclear terrorism. They're the biggest contributor to the nuclear misery. They're the biggest contributor to nuclear waste because they mine it, but they don't have a reactor in Australia.
For 30 years, Australia has refused to sell uranium to India because it was not part of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Yeah,
but by proxy, all you do is create a nuclear weapon with all the uranium they mined. So they're the very epitome of why we needed treaties, because these mining companies are actually unscrupulous.
Now, Australian Prime Minister Julia Gillard says that position is outdated.
As India rises and brings hundreds of millions of people out of poverty, it will need more energy. It is looking to supply 40% of...
There's 1 million children a day starving to death in India. A year. 1 million children die every year of starvation, pneumonia, and dysentery.
That energy need through nuclear energy. We are a very big supplier of uranium.
You don't have anything else there. That's all you got. You got uranium, which poisons the entire planet and kills the Pacific Ocean and everything else. You have no purpose. I get why you need nuclear bombs to protect you, because you produce the nuclear bombs. That's why they got America. We need America to protect us with the nuclear weapon. Nobody cares about you. Hey, you think they're going to conquer you to steal your uranium deposits? And America's already done it.
So having access to this new and growing market is good for Australian jobs.
Good for Australian jobs. Spitting, never mind. So Hollywood TV, this weird friggin' snuff machine. And Weinstein had his way with all the upcoming actors and actresses because he's in position of power, and he absolutely utilized that nonstop. He had his way with everybody who done everything, and then he was in the way, and then they had to submit to the demon. And he shot videos and shared it with his cronies, you can be sure of it. Has anyone fallen faster than Harvey Weinstein? Well, he needed a big scandal. They'd throw anybody under the bus, right? They don't care. Scandal. He doesn't care. He's part of the Bilderberg group anyway, right? He's controlling the narrative with his empire. The Weinstein Company, which he ran alongside with his brother, Bob, is fired. Now, Bob, it's a difficult name, begins with B and ends with B. So most people name Bob. No apologies to you folks, but it's an inside joke, sorry. And fabulous designer, with whom he has 2 children, has announced she's leaving him. What? And that's a shock? Somehow that's a shock, is it? Shock is she's still there. Trust me. So his castle is crumbling all around him. There's no way back. He tried to blow it off and so I'll go get counseling. I'm going to donate $5 million to a women's section at a university and the university had to say, well, no, we can't take it. Sorry, man. Too much pressure. It's like, okay. You guys have saved me so many times. I can't really ask you anymore. The USC School of Cinematic Arts said Tuesday it was rejecting $5 million pledge from Weinstein to fund an endowment for female filmmakers. Can you imagine how demented he is? We're going to donate $5 million. Can you imagine how much guilt he felt? I'm going to donate $5 million. That's guilt. That's admittance that he's a horrible demon that should have been arrested in jail like the rest of the people that do stuff like that. Is he different? Is he allowed to rape anybody he wants? Apparently so. There's no one to hold him accountable as usual. Police not going to hold him accountable. Police not going to arrest him. They're going to send the FBI after him. Investigated for decades, give him time to skip the country, right? Trump's Justice Department moves on Harvey Wienerhead and orders FBI to open probe over fears he'll do Polanski, which is the disappearing act. I just want to talk about this for just a couple of minutes because it's pertinent. The New York Police Department has also ordered detectives to search for evidence. And Steinhead was due to head to Europe for rehab. So rather than have him arrested, and that's rehab, that's the real rehab. Oh, we're going to send him there because he's raping so many women, he needs rehab. We don't even have a planet anymore, do we? It was only that this phony blew up, and then they had to act on it, I guess. Everybody's speaking out now. Everybody's coming out. Yeah, you raped me, 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 you groped me. But is he the only one out there? It's a good thing anyway. Apparently not, because Ben Affleck, good old Ben, he can't keep his hands to himself. Apparently this has been going on for a long time. Made big headlines a couple years ago. Okay, a few years back. See the word PR nightmare? PR nightmare. So no matter what he does, the public relation firm is going to go out and bury it and vilify the victim. That's what a PR person does. There's no such thing as a good PR person anymore. There's no such thing as an innocent PR company anymore. They're fucking thugs, excuse the language. But if you understood how many victims they create all day, every day, they're remorseless, anti-human trash that shouldn't exist. They should have been put down as soon as people realize. As soon as you go apply for a public relation firm, should be a back room where they take you and shoot you in a pit just to throw your body down. Nobody really cares about you. If you're going to work for a public relation firm, nobody's going to miss you. Your family and your friends don't actually care about you. Oscar-winning director Ben Affleck was publicly accused of groping actress whatever. And there she is. So Ben apologizes now. All of a sudden, all the media come out screeching, he's sorry! He's sorry! Ben is sorry, please! He's sorry! Please give Ben a chance, he's sorry! Ben apologizes, he's sincere about it! Stop picking on him. Little too late for that. All kinds of women are coming out going, he's the friggin' grope machine, the butt man. They don't mean it in a funny way or cute or nonsensical. He's a wolf. And he's acting like sheep, Batman clothing. Has been called Buttman on social media since makeup artist became the second woman to allege that he touched her. People are starting to run out. Weinstein had been accused of 3 incidents of rape and countless sexual assaults of young female stars. No, that's not what the waitress said originally. She said he had a different girl there 7 days a week in the restaurant, take her up and bang her. She'd come back sometimes the next morning with the same clothing on, disarray. He was shooting videos and then using that to blackmail him later. And he done it to the wrong one. They got him back now, finally. Hillary said she didn't forget, but everybody else did, right? All Hollywood just sat there and pretended it doesn't happen because they're better than you. I would also love to get an apology from Ben Affleck, who grabbed my ass at Golden Globes in 2014. Said another lady. However, another woman. Another one, Ben. Really, Ben? Your PR firm's going to have to just loot your bank account for a little while, I guess. However, another woman comedy writer said that multiple women endured similar experiences to Tendler's at the same event. The same event, he was going around groping women. Affleck's action should earn him a new nickname, yeah. And so there's another hurricane. This will be the 10th in a row. They say it's not going to strike land, but they've been wrong about every hurricane so far. I wouldn't put any faith into it. Keep an eye on it. No threat to land, it says the notorious wrong idiot. Literally an idiot media, and that's it for Hollywood. And here's, we're going to jump into the rest of the show. 15 minutes. Woo! New record for stop screwing around before the show starts. I'm getting better. Broke my old record by 30 seconds. We'll try again next year. The last time his season produced 10 consecutive hurricanes, listen to this, 1893. But this is a period when tracking hurricanes basically relied on ships and their barometer readings. Something they wrote in their book, their logbook. So your media is desperate to equate it with something natural. All these storms you're seeing are from Fukushima nuclear meltdown. I'll explain that. Now, Fukushima, when you release radioactivity into the environment, these isotopes, they're pulsing every second. Pulsing. Every second. La, la. Wait for it. La, 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 second. Uh-oh. What I got done now? Dana, what have you got done? Where are you, Dana? Is a big question. I'm here. I'm here. Stop fooling around, Dana. Get out and show. Okay. Typical order to compensate a golf course. Trying to be in a cheery mood for everybody because I actually got nothing to complain about today, or just in my own personal world. Felt good yesterday. Had a little nap. Felt better. Headache yesterday morning, but felt good for the rest of the day. And this morning feeling really good. Like a little worn out, but feel good. Worked on the trailer again yesterday for the boat. Man, I don't know. I got. I'll go try to get a smaller width of a bearing and see if I can get it to squeeze in there, because they didn't have all the pieces on the last time. And just hang on. Who knows with me sometimes. And so the trailer is just a double two wheels. But the trailer is one of those that flexes. I'm not even sure if they make them here anywhere in North America. It's a stupid trailer. So the bearings are slightly different than the standard bearings. Because the trailer, like I say, it flexes as a shock. And I've never seen another trailer like that. And friends of mine who noticed it said, what the hell is that? And the little Zodiac, the 8 horsepower for that, still haven't got, not expecting to show up for another 6-7 days for the carburetor shows up at least, if not longer, closer to the end of the month. That's torture. So the judge acknowledged parts of the course were rendered unusable. Parts of the course. The part of the course. See, typical lawyers are so vicious. The whole place is contaminated, but they were able to convince the judge only parts of it was. Right, to get a lower settlement. It would take 10 years for the course to be profitable as it was before the accident because of its location. So $5.8 million damages. But the victims lost their homes and their communities, got $3,000 tops, if they were lucky, right? We covered that yesterday. The course will never be safe again. It's assimilated into the grass, into the trees, into the plants, into the pollen, into the leaves, into the ground, into the root system. It's permeated throughout the whole area, washes down from the mountains, is liberated through convection and evaporation. You can never go back. We'll get to that coming up. To dream of a world without nuclear weapons animates millions of people across the planet. I can. I'm not supporting anything. I'm just bringing up the story. ICAN was formed in 2007 on the proposal by the International Physicians for the Prevention of Nuclear War. Well, if they're going to prevent nuclear war, you got to prevent nuclear power plants. You got to end nuclear, period. You can't have no middle ground. So the prevention to stop the war, who got a Nobel Peace Prize, this was about going after other countries and creating this joint thing. Like the United Nations is the most hit, as if United Nations doesn't know Fukushima is desperation times. And then all the media screech when we get to the Evacuee going to UN to plead or to tell the UN that Japan violated the human rights. This, like, the UN is created to bring people to them so they can identify who the mouthpieces are, so the governments can come after those people and get rid of them. It's totally a co-opt. UN exists for one purpose and one purpose only: to destroy Earth, to destroy all life on Earth. And I can quantify that endlessly, and I do. UN has no purpose outside of misery. It's 100% a misery machine. It exists to dominate other countries, to get at their natural resources for militaries. So like China wants it, and America wants the same resources. So UN gets rid of China and everybody else and leaves it for the Americans, who'll take it and weaponize it and destroy another country. But ICAN has 468 partners. None of them reached out to me. None of them helped me when I was attacked and vilified in the media. None of them said, Dana, we're like, We feel for you. We want to reach out and let you know. Nobody helped me. None of these organizations reached out to me in the Fukushima Expeditions for Life. And the Fukushima Expeditions for Life was where I went out and done the entire coast, and we're heading back out, where I went out and done the entire coastline of Canada. 15,000 miles, 260 days. At one point, we had a crew of 3 people on the rocks, not counting me, for several months. It became prohibitively expensive. But the idea was to have independent people besides me involved. And so I went out and done species counts. These are the before and after in the same place. You can actually see the devastation. It's a total annihilation of all species. It's totally eradicated for the whole coastline in North America. That's not maybe, that's not if, that's factual now. That's vetted. I went out and done the work, period. This is pre-Fukushima in the same spot. You can find that information up at the nuclearproctologist.org and download those exact same pictures you're looking at. The before and after. They're Louise Narrows, formerly known as Ichi-F in the formerly known as Queen Charlotte Islands. This is Ichi-F, Louise Narrows. They changed the name from Queen Charlotte Islands to Ichi-F. If you look up Queen Charlotte, because you can't spell Ichi-F, don't feel bad. And so I went out and we're heading back out. This time we have a submergible remote control. We have a very, very high-end drone, very, very high-end camera. We still don't got the lens. And the lenses, we need to raise $2,000 in the next week or so we can order it in. And it might be gone by then because it's a second-hand one at Amazon. And so we desperately need to raise that money. As soon as it goes in the account, I can convince a friend of mine to order it because we're afraid someone else is going to buy it. And I like to have that desperately. That would be the last piece. And then we also have, and that lens weighs 2 pounds, right? But we have to have a gimbal that can carry the camera and the lens. And then the footage we're going to bring back, and every time I come ashore, every 7, 8, 10 days, I'll be gone for the next 6 months on these expeditions. And maybe I'll come back and cover that at the end of it. But we got a lot to get through, so keep running. And put that out there for anybody that hasn't met me or is intending to donate. Now's a good time. We got to raise close to 7,000 to 8,000 each month while we're out there, and I have enough to get up there, but I don't have any money to sustain me for 6 months or even for the first month. But we bought all the gear. We also have a big gimbal. We'll be probably buying that today, paying for it. We paid for the big drone, and we paid for the underwater drone, the submersible, the remote control. That can film for 4 hours. I got lights and the camera, or the cameras on a gimbal also. It's going to be stunning footage. We can focus on an object. Before we were dragging cameras underwater, and I was happy. Don't get me wrong. I was thankful to have that opportunity and have those cameras. And I'm still going to be using those cameras. Don't get me wrong. All the original equipment will still get used and all the new equipment. I'll be gone for 6 months. And because it's so hard to raise the money, it's going to take me that long. I don't have the money sitting there just to go do the whole coastline. I have to do it in increments by raising the money that way. But I'll be gone for 6 months. I won't make it. I have no doubts at this stage I won't make it back home. I'm too lucky. I'm too fortunate to get all the equipment that I wanted. I don't expect to get the rest of it right away. So, unfinished nuclear fuel reprocessing plant. Now, reprocessing plants where they reclaim the uranium plutonium from the spent fuel rods. I'm going to cover a bunch of headlines coming up for a little bit, and then we're going to cover a bunch of Fukushima for the ending of it. Good morning to everyone. Hugs for everybody. It's been a frenzied pace this week for me. I don't stop. But I'm feeling good spirit. Unfinished nuclear fuel reprocessing plant faked safety records. I'm not looking forward to going. I'm overwhelmed with how much work needs to be done. And I have to do everything on a tiny budget. And so I had to go bust my own knuckles and everything else to sacrifice. That's the way it works. And we don't mind that. That's okay. I'm not complaining. Unfinished nuclear fuel reprocessing plant I'll be out there for 6 months by myself, so I'll be busting my knuckles all by myself for 6 months. Might as well get into the mode. Through the winter and spring and summer next year before I get back, I guess. Who knows? I might get a break. Great. Somebody donates 50,000, 60,000. I can just go out and do whatever I want, and make as many mistakes as going to happen without having to worry about it and get the job done. That's one thing. Who knows, right? Most likely we'll do fine. Unfinished nuclear fuel. I'm not worried about it. I'm going. I wouldn't be going if I was worried about it. Let's put it that way. I'll be gone in about 2 weeks at the most. I'm hoping to be gone before the end of the month. Let's put it that way. That's a better way of putting it. Unfinished nuclear fuel because we're behind. I haven't got a carburetor because the choke broke and it was made of plastic inside the other carburetor, but it's covered on a warranty. But those 4 strokes, it's a little unnerving that happened. Because the replacement's going to have a plastic choke on it too. But I have a kicker on the little Zodiac now also. The firm that owns an uncompleted nuclear fuel reprocessing plant, slow it down, Dana, in Japan failed to conduct necessary checks and falsified safety checks records relating to the plant. So they falsified it so they get more money and get the NRC come in. Now they got another plant. The plant has been riddled with problems. Its completion date has been postponed 23 times. It was supposed to be finished in 1997. It's still not done. This is a legacy of nuclear, isn't it? Wattsburg took 43 years to build it. Decades overdue. 43 years. And it runs for maybe 20 years, and then it takes 50 years to try to decommission. They got nowhere to put the waste. It leaches into the community, poisons everybody. There's 6 times more breast cancer and just within 15 miles of it in studies. If they had it went out to 50 miles, they would have found corresponding numbers and added that up in a hurry. It's devastating. Nuclear power plants are the stupidest thing imaginable. You're an idiot to have one on your planet, let alone 440. One of the main roles of the nuclear fuel reprocessing plant is the extraction, what they call reusable uranium plutonium. The reclaiming the uranium plutonium, these have already gone through a chain reaction, fuel rods, and they're extremely volatile. You can't store them because they're so hot for so long. So what they do is reclaim the hot particles per se out of them, and then they burn them into your environment. You can't kill these things. You're only going to release them into the environment. It's like you're releasing Ebola or spraying Agent Orange over your country forever. One of the main roles of nuclear fuel reprocessing plants is they murder everything forever. These particles don't die for millions of years. The reason they're doing it is because they don't have a repository. This is why they're burning it. They're reclaiming it. They come up with this idea, the technology shouldn't exist. And then they spend obscene amounts of money trying to make it disappear back into the environment. So you can't see it or smell it or hear it or taste it, but it never disappears. It never stops emitting. It never stops being dangerous. Anybody comes in contact with the isotopes that are released in a million years will get the same issue as us today. So if you put the isotopes inside of me, for instance, I get cancer and I die, and you bury me in a sarcophagus, and you keep me there for a million years, and you take me out and you cremate me, you liberate those isotopes back in the environment. They can float around for a million years and find somebody, they breathe it in and kill them. And so they're very dangerous for a very long time in a very small amount, incomprehensible to the average person. If you have a 1/10,000th, a millionth of a meter, you can put 2 million atoms on the head of a needle, you can't see it. But that's 2 million cancers distributed out in increments. Cancer takes a long time to show up, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years to manifest, to be diagnosed. There's several thousand illnesses and diseases, autoimmune deficiencies, injuries, that'll show up long before cancer. Alzheimer's, dementia, autism, diabetes, heart, liver, lung, respiratory, pituitary, adrenaline, thyroid gland issues. It goes in your body attacks with white blood cells forever. And it builds a tumor. But you're depleting your oxygen in your body by displacing the white blood cells for the rest of your life. Every isotope in your body, every atom, inside the atom is the isotope, every atom in your body with an isotope, a man-made isotope inside of it. You see, these are fission, not fusion. The sun makes fusion, so the potassium, magnesium, iron, carbon, cobalt, this is from fusion. The stuff that comes from a chain reaction is what we call dirty bombs. This is why we're trying to get a nuclear waste repository. This is why no country succeeded, because this stuff is not indigenous to the solar system. Therefore, we don't have anything on the planet can deal with it. All the containment, all the vessels, all the cast, all the containment sarcophagus have to be vented because of the noble gases. When oxygen is introduced, it doesn't need a spark, just oxygen to detonate. The company has plans to complete safety checks at all of its cashew plants facilities within a year and then submit the results to the NRA. No one's going to get a criminal record. No one's going to go to jail. No one's going to be arrested. No one's going to be ostracized. No. The police are not going to arrest them. They're going to go to the NRA and say, okay, look, we got our shit together. There's no judge, there's no jury, no prosecutor. There's no reality. They're outside of any reality we're familiar with. They live in their own fucking world. Their own universe. Can't be held accountable, so they can go do it somewhere else. Right? So there's no incentive to be honest, no incentive to do their job, no incentive to protect the population. There's no media to hold them accountable on top of that. Media, no need for Indian Point seismic flood evaluations. What are you talking about? That's Al-Qaeda talk. They're right on the ocean. They're right on the water, on the river. Oh yeah, no, that can't get flooded. No, you can't have an issue there. There's no need of it. Oh, we're going to be closing down. But that means you're more dangerous. You're more fragile. You're closing down because you have a doctrine that says the Wagner effect will destroy the integrity of your places. If you have a flood or you have some kind of anywhere in the next, even though you're closing down in a couple of years, you have a flood at any point in 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road, all of the waste is still stored on your site. The only reason you wouldn't want to do it is because you got something to hide. The nuclear laboratory idiot, box, machine, bird brain, dummies, there's 4,800 of them, and they rubber stamp everything. They say no to nothing. Their whole job, their whole ideology is to say it's like a banana and potato chip, walking in the sunshine, getting on an airplane, sleeping next to somebody, flying on a plane, climbing mountains, everywhere is good for you. Anybody that ever ordered any of these that got a degree, absolutely, positively, should be arrested, should be publicly beaten, should be flogged publicly, should be tarred and feathered publicly, and then should be publicly fucking done with. Put them in a pit, seal it. Don't fucking feed them, just leave them there. Let them fucking wither and die. Fuck them. Get them off our fucking planet. These are the most despicable creatures. And that, by the way, that's all your government, all your media, all your fucking universities. Every one of them done it to you. All your big shots in the nuclear industry, everyone done it to you. I'm saying this should be done legally. There's nothing too wicked for these fuckers. There's nothing too wicked for anybody that ever said something like that about nuclear. There's nothing too wicked for them. There's no way anybody on the planet will see anything different than what I'm saying right now in the very near future when you find out what they actually been doing for 74 years, why they're telling that same lie for 74 years, why they attack me relentlessly, why I have 6 gag orders. The reason I talk so harshly is because I have 6 gag orders. The reason I'm so outspoken, I'm so vocal, is because I'm so outraged that there was no one to defend me, no one to stand by me. There was no lawyers. 19 lawyers wouldn't touch me. I had to defend myself. And there was no way you can defend yourself against a corrupt prosecutor and a corrupt judge. An unbelievably corrupt prosecutor and a corrupt judge. A hideously unbelievable corruption. In your face, blatant corruption to convict me and give me gag orders to silence me, to protect assets. Vilified in the major medias right across Canada and Japan. We got him! We got him! Not a man was given 6 gag orders. That should be a big story, shouldn't it? People should want to interview me, shouldn't they? If big media would run out and want to interview me, wouldn't you? No. Too busy trying to vilify me and demonize me. See, I'm not going away because I'm not a bad person. I never done anything wrong. I'm as honest as the day is long, and the day for me is very long. Every day for me is very long. I have the longest days of anybody, I'm sure. The weight on my shoulders is enormous. I'm not allowed to make a mistake. I'm not allowed to have a conjecture. Without making blatant obvious, it's just a conjecture. Used fuel-grade uranium was being transported under heavy security from the Kagan nuclear power plant, for enrichment with a driver, for enrichment. When the driver lost control over the vehicle and it slipped into a ditch. Truck with used nuclear fuel slipped into a ditch. God bless the media. God bless the little media for protecting the nuclear industry. How dare them be brutally honest? How dare media tell us the facts? How dare media even consider it? Because it's never going to happen. You get these little tidbits. So over in this this incredible impoverished world, they have an atomic energy central, where they radiate the cancer victims and kill them off. IAEA just came out with a study saying that cervical cancer for women, pelvic cancer for women, there was some success in their studies in impoverished countries with treating the victims with radiation. Yeah? They got study after study after study where they claim that, but we've never seen the evidence in hospitals in North America. Everybody gets cancer treatment from radiation dies in North America, 97% before they would have without the treatment. We have studies on it. In Australia and in North America, where 97% of the victims of cancer treated with man-made radiation died. So all our hospitals do is murder our loved ones. And we don't know about it. We go there in desperation. We sign a piece of paper saying they can do whatever they want because the hospitals can't help them. We want to try something to save them. Right? And then they're like goblins. $50,000 a shot and your loved ones die when the checkbook dries up. When the government won't pay for any more shots. Because what they do is they have this limit of shots you're allowed to get by the government or by insurance. And so for those people, they increase the dose to make sure you die at the end. Or that you will die within the next couple of years. So if you get a lot of assets, they'll keep you alive for a few years, make you liquidate them. There's a whole industry of lawyers and police and doctors out there and nurses that allow that to happen and make it happen, actually. So right up by the nuclear school, there's high schools. Right? Government hospital, look at that one. And government schools. And the hotels, right? They're right by the freshwater, all the freshwater river. So the nuclear industry, 100% goblins. These people are 100 billion% nothing but goblins. Pure goblins. Heartless, spineless, soulless goblins. That's your nuclear industry. You come out not in the top 10 sites for a repository. There's a rich one. There's a 5-mile horseshoe-shaped tunnel there at Yucca. For a repository, they need 40 more miles. Yeah, because it's like a banana potato chip and walking in the sunshine and getting on an airplane, Dana. There are 5 pending cases challenged in various aspects of the project. Now, Yucca Mountain, see, the thing about Yucca Mountain is they spent $20 billion, not in construction. No, that was all kinds of more billions of dollars. They spent $20 billion, Yucca Mountain, the lawyers did, fighting in courtrooms. $20 billion. This is an incredible money pit for everybody in the industry. They're just going to fight about, they'll keep, even though this headline is here, they're still going to fight about Yucca Mountain every day in the media because there's billions of dollars involved. right? As long as you keep the fight alive, Congress people will just throw money at it because that's what it's all about. It's about looting your country. 100%. It's got nothing to do with anything outside of poisoning everybody, killing everything off, and looting your country. Adams says the licensing process alone could take up to 5 years and cost between $40 million. The state of Nevada's estimate, right? Or $1.66 billion, the U.S. Department of Energy estimate. There's an incredible disparity there, isn't that? How do you get from 40 million, which is a stupid amount of money, to $1.66 billion, which is an obscene amount of money? This is nuclear. I'm here humbly asking to try to come up with $2,000 for a big lens, a high quality, not a big lens, but a very high quality lens to go with the rest of the gear that we gathered up in increments over an extended period of time. And now we're ready to go back up for the final expedition and confirm the experiment. But these people, I feel guilty asking everybody to help me to do these little things, which are really big things, trust me. They don't feel guilty robbing 40 million to, $1.66 billion. Can you imagine what someone like me could do with $1 million? Can anybody wrap their mind around? I could wreck the entire industry forever with $1 million at this stage because I'm so focused on the things I'm doing. 20 years later, nuclear waste still a main Yankee. All nuclear power plants are the same story, right? They broke every promise, every step of the way, every time. As soon as you closed them out, promise was kicked onto the carpet with the dirt. The plant was decommissioned in 1997. The CAP was formed to keep the public informed about the status of the nuclear waste removal. No one on the time thought the waste. 1,434 spent nuclear fuel rods, now stored in 60 steel canisters, encased in concrete, that are vented into the environment. They put it in that in order for the gamma shine. You have to vent it because it's producing, it's still splitting the atom. Right? We don't have a repository because there's no such thing. You can't store this stuff anywhere. There's nowhere on the planet to put it. You can't. If you try to put it all down in the pit, it's all gonna. When something blows up, you never get back down there. You're gonna lose the planet for sure. It's the stupidest thing we've ever heard tell of. And they hid it from you for 74 years. They manipulated you for 74 years. They Hollywood and everybody else, particularly Hollywood, is despicable. Like Batman or Spider-Man, the Hulk, Superman. Really? Based off man-made radiation? Really? And just total, like Hollywood, Marvel Comics in particular. I mean, we should protest in front of Marvel Comics every day for the rest of our life till they're gone. Right? Because they come out and turn the most evilest thing in the world into an icon for children. Spider-Man and the Hulk. This is reprehensible. This is literally demonic. This is like coming out and making pedophiles cool. It's the same thing. And getting away with it. But when you look at it deeply, you find out that's what they've done. You'd be sick, right? Well, that's what nuclear is. Except nuclear is mass murder for all 8 million species. Okay, let's buzz through this, and then we hit the big stuff. Well, we still got a couple of headlines. And then we boom, boom, boom. And so we're just going to touch on these next ones because I can... The problem with me is I got a tendency to keep clicking along. Chickadee China, the Chinese chicken. So type by. But the story has to be told. So, here we go. Let me get it. The federal government was supposed to remove it in 98. The main Yankee successfully sued the government $35 million in damages. It's clean green, too cheap to meter. $35 million here, $100 billion there. Neither site could be used until the permanent repository site at Yucca Mountain received final approval. So they have two sites identified, New Mexico and West Texas. New Mexico, which is a whip-raced repository, They had a truck fire and nobody's ever went back, right? 3 years later, but they spent $6 billion pretending they're going to go back. Because the whole community only exists because of WIP. So when you put all your stuff down, you have an action, you can't get back there, but you still got to loot the country. Can't help it. They can't help it. That's all they do. That's all they know how to do. It's all about looting everybody. And so the people that are really greedy and they won't give it up, and they'll do anything to keep it up. They'll dump it in your drinking water, dump it in your children's playgrounds. They just don't care. Chemical groundwater monitoring at the site is only monitoring 7 of the 21 wells. So, they renege on their promises and their obligations endlessly, repetitively, repeatedly, and maliciously. And approval is being sought to end the groundwater program early. Yeah? Going to end the program early because they're demons. They got nowhere to put it, but we're not going to bother checking. The chemical levels in the water appear to be stable, says the Chicken X. It cannot be used for drinking, though. How's it stable when it can't be used for drinking? There's little point in continuing to test the water, according to J. Stanley Brown, the independent spent fuel installation manager. So you're putting yourself out of a job, because that's your job. Your job is not there to say, who cares? I got the job, now fuck all of you. I'm not going to check jack shit. He should be in jail. Police can't arrest him. No one can convict him. He works for corporations. You got to give the corporation a fine. Right? This is why corporate personhood is not supposed to exist, right? It piggybacked in on the slavery law. A law meant to free the slaves and the oppressed people from an oppressive government. Now was manipulated and piggybacked corporations got the same rights as slaves had. And we're not all of them, but we're given these rights through deception. So Justice Hugo Black wrote an eloquent dissent in 1939, the U.S. Supreme Court Justice, how absurd it was that an amendment meant to free the blacks from an oppressive government was used by corporations to oppress the solvent people, which is you and your history. Welch bills calls for feds to compensate nuclear fuel towns. They only give $15 on a pound. Regardless of how quickly Vermont Yankees decommission, it takes 50 years. What are you talking about? Vernon will be stuck with the plant's spent fuel for the foreseeable future till the very end of time, which is not that far away. We killed the planet because of Fukushima. I'll get to that coming up here. Entergy's administrators are hoping when the fuel plant is done in 2018 to sell the plant to New York-based. Who cares? Oh, New York-based. He's in New York. New York. Based North Star Group Services, which shows up out of the blue, says it can clean up most of the property by 2030. We got all kinds of immigrants and homeless and destitute and victims of society we can shuffle through. Arnie Gunnarsson used to do it for 3 minutes. We can do it too, a lot cheaper. We can get them from Mexico to cross the border and ship them in there. 3 minutes is a lethal dose. Isn't Arnie Gunnarsson literally one of the worst goblins imaginable? Come out and told us the fuel rods were at the top. Helen Callicott, Christopher Busby. I'm just totally, unbelievably upset with these people for what they've done for the last 6 years. Arnie Gunnarsson, Helen Callicott, Christopher Busby, and Kevin Camps. Never forget what Kevin Camps got done to us. Is this not the worst betrayal conceivable where the anti-nuclear movement, all 4 of them are the control opposition, as we covered many times here? Oh yeah, no, they're getting the fuel at number 4 and number 3, Dana. Though one such interim storage proposal for Texas has been suspended, because it's on the order, another in New Mexico is under review. No, it's not. You blew up, you had a truck fire 3 years ago, you still can't get back down there. 10 days later, you said, there's a radiation release, but you had a truck fire, you didn't go back down. So you lied. Every facet of nuclear. This is a WIP, waste repository in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Right, so they lied, 100%. You had a truck fire, can't go back down. 10 days later, not going back down. Oh my good, we're ready to go back down. Got all my lunches packed, all the crew was ready to go. And wouldn't you know, I got a radiation release. We need $5 billion. We don't know what's going on, but we need $5 billion. We can't go back down there. Well, why don't you lay everybody off? What? Well, how are we going to get $5 billion? We does that, Dana? Yeah, if I had my time back, you wouldn't be on the planet. Representative Joe Courtney on October the 3rd introduced the Stranded Nuclear Waste Accountability Act. Oh, gee. Just like you can't even wrap your mind around that one. The Stranded. Okay. The stuff that shouldn't be on the planet act. Well, with that act, you should also have another act where you arrest the demons for lying to us. Right? There's no law to arrest these people. There's no law in the books that you can arrest any of these people for what they got done. That's why they're goblins. Right? There's no incentive not to be a goblin. They're actual goblins. The nuclear industry is 100% goblins. Gobble. $15 per kilogram. I said pound, did I? Big money, though. That's $18 million each year for just one spot where Vernon is too. Okay, let's book it. There was a time when the U.S. EPA's Clean Power Plan was seen as a boost for nuclear power. But nuclear power, you got to dig up mountains each year just to power, great big massive pits. You see, that's enough to power a uranium power plant. That's what a mass murder machine for a year. Right, the goblins. Right, the goblins. You're so lucky I don't have the time to get you arrested. It's just incredible, vicious goblins. Every friggin' show, goblins. So I got 6 gag orders. That's the same people, obvious. Protesting nuclear waste transport on Germans. So they're taking the stuff down to be processed on the river because it'll radiate everybody on the highway. Right? They won't give it up. And then the police will look. That's the police in the boat is going to protect the villains. They don't know how to do their job. They're incapable of having a job. They got to be goblins too. A special ship carrying 3 containers filled with highly radioactive waste from a closed plant set sail on Nectar River. The fuck is wrong with you people? Calling me like this. That's the industry. 4 activists from the environment. 6 gag orders, not enough, right? It was the first time that I can't turn my phone off because I might get messages from friends or family, right? And if I turn my phone off, then they win. I don't get those messages. And so talk about horrible monsters, like actual goblins. It's really something. I bring the phone here just because I know they're going to phone. And I want to make sure the world understands what I went through to get to this point, right? Fucking pieces of shit. The controversial ship was able to complete the journey after specially trained officers removed 2 of the protesters. Specially trained officers removed 2 protesters. But they're new protesters. They're different than the regular protesters. You got to use a 4-foot stick, not the standard 3-foot one. Activists are concerned. Anti-nuclear power protesters. See, a power plant goes down, you're banning your community. We'll get to that. They call transporting nuclear waste on the river is unsafe and criticize how officials are carrying out radiation tests along the river. They're doing it on the river because the gamma shine, the x-rays, neutron bursts. The people on the boat don't know that. They're too stupid and they won't be told stuff like that. Oh, we're trying to avoid the activists. Well, why are the activists there? Oh, because it's like a banana. Potato chips, Dana. They plan to carry another 5 trips by boat. The Fukushima police still trying to move on from the nuclear disaster. What are you talking about? Still trying to move on. You've done everything to bury it. You've done everything to hide it. You've done everything in your power to make sure no one can have a conversation about it. You gave me 6 gag orders and come out and lauded the fact that my speech was taken away from me. My freedoms and liberties were stolen from me. They can do it to me, they can do it to you. So you might not like me or care about me, but because they can do it to me, they can do it to you. You should stand with me. Because I don't lie. I'm not here to play a game. I'm here because I gotta be here. I'm not here because I want to be. Nobody wants the job I got. After a strong 9.0 magnitude earthquake hit the area. Now it's a 9.0. A few days ago they had a 5.9, which is actually on a scale of 7. So that would have been an 8.4. And nobody bothered telling everybody that. The wave had cut off power, and of course, so you got an increased radiation now in Europe, over Europe, that it ain't going to stop anytime soon. And no, we think it's from terrorists in North Korea, Dana. Yeah, what? Who was the terrorists who went there and burnt every village to the ground with napalm? Yeah? They didn't attack America. America came to them and burnt down every village in their country. Every friggin' village. You barbarians, you demons, you spineless, soulless monsters. The wave cut off power and led to a nuclear reactor cores melting. It cut off power for 670 miles of the coastline, where there's 15 other reactors. So by conjectures, it'd be prudent to suggest that 50 more power plants also melted down. Right? That's what they're telling you. Just not talking about it. Overall, 3% of Fukushima population of 1.9 million are still living away. So the rest are there. They left the rest behind in Fukushima Prefecture. I'll show you why that's so hideous right away here coming up. We're right there. We're about to land on it right away. And although many towns have had their evacuations orders lifted, you can't lift an evacuation for about 100,000 years. You've never come out and said the reality of what nuclear is like. Only you claimed it was like a banana potato chip. And so every day we show this, the media is so disconnected on purpose. 100%. A journalist's job now is to lie to you and get you to believe the lie. That's all a journalist exists for. To figure out a way to lie so you can't work out what the lie or that you were lied to. That's all a journalist do. Here's a subject, we got to lie about it. And then they spend their entire time lying. Or, instead of saying unbelievable, like then they talk about 50 millisieverts, not only did they don't bother saying they lifted decontamination. What are you talking about? You can't decontaminate after a nuclear accident. It doesn't work that way. It can't be done. You have to dig up the whole country. You got nowhere to put it. So, unbelievable betrayal. Japanese people in general are not afraid of nuclear. What are you talking about? Have you seen a protest with hundreds of thousands of people down there? They closed every plant in the country. No, they're not afraid. I think someone should kick the shit out of you people like you. Immediately. When you write articles like this, you should be hunted down and be beaten half to fucking dead. Because that's all we're left with. We don't have any police to hold you accountable. We don't have any universities or media or government to go to. All you do is fucking lie. All you do is lie. You do nothing but lie. You do nothing but make it up as you go along. Students don't want to come to schools near the area of the nuclear power plant. Why are you opening schools? Why can't you say that word? They shouldn't be opening a school near a nuclear meltdown. Will you send your children there? If you do, you should be fucking shot right on the spot. No maybes. All of you should be shot right on the spot that apologizes for nuclear and downplays it. Every fucking one of you probably will be. Although some schools resumed recently for the first time in 6 years, and they still don't see nothing wrong with that. Media has no problem coming out and pretending that is okay. It's not real. This can't be real. But it is. Journalist after journalist after journalist after journalist after professor after professor after professor after university after academic after government official, endlessly, repetitively, all media, everybody out there, Hollywood, everybody out there lying about it. Oh, so Spider-Man, look at Spider-Man, how good he is. Then he got radiation. Look at the home, he's fucking great, he's a great big guy. Look at him, then he got radiation, data. Look at banana, then what are you worried about? Just goblins. 100% goblins. No one to hold them accountable. Just us. The region's main industries of farming and fishery was also severely hit. What do you mean severely hit? Severely hit is like they had a bad season. There's no media out there worth coveting, period. They're all worth burning to the ground, every one of them. They're all worth kicking the shit of. Every one of them. If somebody got a journalist degree, someone should fucking kick the shit out of them right on the spot. Oh, you're a journalist? Pump. That's what's coming in the next couple of years. Death of the Pacific is guaranteeing it. You can't get away from the death of the Pacific. I'm only saying what I see in the future. That's what I see in the future. In the very near future, these journalists will be hunted down, beaten relentlessly from here on out. Once it's understood what they got done, and it's coming out, people are a lot smarter than they're giving them credit for. The Japanese government is also supporting those who've fled and haven't found jobs. What are you talking about? They're moving everybody back in. People inhaled 85,000 becquerels of radioactivity in just 4 hours. Includes only iodine 131. There's 10 times more 132. 30 times more 133 iodine. 31 times more iodine 129. And the reactors running uranium plutonium. There's thousands and thousands. There's around 12,000 isotopes. Most of them are classified. There's China's making it. When you mix the fuel differently, you create different isotopes. Yeah, no, I can't imagine how people got 85,000 becquerels of radioactivity in just 4 hours. It sounds totally ludicrous. I mean, he only picked up 30 million bags from 4 buildings. How would that be possible? 30 million bags from 4 buildings. No problem, Dana. Inhaling just one radioactive hot particle can cause a cancer. Sandy Cantor, MD, MPH, President of Board of Directors, Physicians for Social Responsibilities. See, so if inhaling just one radioactive hot particle can cause a cancer, then this is North America covered in radiation from Fukushima. See that picture? 3 workers suffered cardiac arrest at an incineration plant in Kita City. Cardiac arrest. Burning nuclear, see? They're not burning this stuff. That's different nuclear. There's 30 million one-ton bags, over 100,000 of these sites. 300,000 becquerels plus a radioactive iodine, which is a fission, but it's just one of the many isotopes that are... See, when it comes from a chain reaction, right, from the meltdown itself, everything is a hot particle. Everything that comes out of a meltdown is a hot particle. Everything is carcinogenic. Everything that comes out of a chain reaction is carcinogenic. Right? And some people will say, oh, well, one's more energetic than the other. Yeah? But they're all carcinogenic. See? So they pick up bags, and the bags are still sitting there, and they want people to move back into the community. Not want them, they force them. They trick them, they deceive them. They coerce them. Because they're goblins. You're a goblin. You work for the nuclear industry, you're a goblin. You're a creature. You're a monster. You're a demon on this planet. You're horrific. You could be the best looking girl or the best looking guy with the prettiest teeth and the biggest wallet and the prettiest house and the best looking family, the most accurates of everybody out there. You're a goblin. You're 100% a goblin. Inside, you're just an ugly, hideous creature. Fukushima worker are worried about pressure forcing water up through cracked ground at the nuclear plant. The whole country's irradiated. It just washes throughout the country every time it rains or snows. IAEA, right, and Unclear, and ERPA, and all the rest of them, they're the same people on each one of these boards. Exact same people. We'll spin through the rest. I mean, there's no allowable safe, or there's no such thing as a safe level of radiation. This is the most important headline in the history of headlines. Allowable radiation standard is based on benefit, not safety. There is no benefit. See? If there was benefit, you wouldn't pick it up and put it in bags and store it. There's no benefit. There's no benefit. So think about this headline. Dr. Regan and Gilmedi. We'll attach that. So he took the radiation, 144 beagle dogs, a single monodispersal inhalation. And then within 5 years, all the dogs died. Bone tumors found in 93 dogs were the most common cause of death. Lung tumors in 46 dogs are the second most common cause of death. Liver tumors in 20 dogs were competing causes of death. Death. That's all you're going to get from nuclear. Death. More death and death and death and more death. So you're talking about an industry of goblins. So you're putting it in these containers, but you're dumping it in the ocean at the same time. You're doing it to pacify the people that understand what's going on. Then you dump it when no one's looking. Because there's all homeless and destitute and immigrants working there. Tritium rain result from disposal of contaminated water because they're going to boil it off into the community. It's not tritiated water. Tritiated water, what it actually means is full of all the isotopes. They say, oh, the water is tritiated. And it'll be okay because the sun makes tritiated water too, see? This is two different isotopes. Completely different one. Ask the homeless. Oh, that's right. No one knows who they are. This is a hideous machine murdering our planet. And everybody's pretending it's not happening. The Times came out with a real headline, then they come out and said it's like a banana potato chip walking in the sunshine in the next one. Right? They come out for street creds originally. These headlines, these old headlines, this is about street creds. This is why the media, everybody hates me for using them, because when you go look at the same people, you see them talking about bananas and potato chips and walking in the sunshine. Right? They come out looking for street creds, and then they talk about everything else and mix it together and conflate it and bring in the nonsense and the bullshitters like Rod Adams or Kyle Vetter or Jerry Thomas from the UK or Kathleen Higley from America, John Boyce from America, all the usual, John Concra from all the usual idiot machines. Lethal threat from Fukushima, highly radioactive water flowing in the Pacific, a threat to life. Right in this, they had the press, media comes in, big shots come in. Allegedly, they're at Fukushima. No one believes it. Mysterious black substance, 1 million becquerels a kilogram. 55 is an evacuation zone. And Minnesota is still full of people. Lots of places ran away immediately. You left your supermarkets, your hospitals, your communities, your graveyards, your pets, your farms, your animals tied up in the farms. Left them behind to starve to death and die of thirst. Unbelievable. Left your pets there. Left your supermarkets behind, your banks full of money. Your hospitals, your liquor stores full of booze. Music shops full of music. Cigarette shops full of cigarettes. You ran away, you left it all behind because it's like a banana and potato chip. And because there's 30 million one-ton bags already picked up. Local newspaper editor blasts UC Berkeley professor for claiming it was harmless. Yeah, if it's harmless, why'd you pick up 30 million one-ton bags? 5,000 workers, these are homeless and destitute and victims of society. Stood around doing nothing all day, getting their picture taken. 5,000 suffered internal radiation exposure. The suits can't protect you. The suits can't protect you. 5,000 workers got internal radiation from gamma shine and x-rays and neutron bursts. That's what millicesieve is for. It's not for atoms, which we need in North America. 40% of the visitors in Fukushima showed internal exposure to radiation, but as I showed you in previous headlines, only 10% of the population escaped. The rest was tricked and deceived and manipulated to stay there because nuclear is more important than all life in the universe. Nuclear is more important than all 8 million species on the planet. Nuclear must survive and everything else must die so nuclear can survive. Nuclear is the worst thing that could happen to any society in any universe. Man-made nuclear is the worst thing that could happen. Imagine going to another nuclear power plant and another planet, and bringing nuclear technology and destroying that planet. That's all you're going to do. Imagine going there and finding that they're about to start making man-made nuclear power, another Earth full of life, and you say, You call home to your family, say, it's amazing. We found this planet with over 8 million species on it. And they were about to start up their first nuclear power plant. We showed them what happened to Earth, how it killed our planet. Would that be a great thing? What a lesson. See, we'll never carry that lesson because we can't travel in space. If we do travel in space, there's nobody alive will ever see that day. Well, it's highly unlikely we'll ever get off this planet again. We got ourselves done with nuclear, seriously. See, uranium-238 spiked. What are you talking about? Because they love to lie, right? Uranium-235, they meant. See, Hawaii got hit by that. Yeah, this is France's model, not based upon the actual releases, but based upon venting that they emit to. All of them made their models on venting. All of them seen the destruction. All of the universities seen the pictures of the reactors. None of them included it in the model. All your universities are literally the lowest forms of life imaginable. We almost lost 1/3 of the nation due to Fukushima. Japan's leader in 311. Most don't know, but reactor 1 melted down in 5 hours. In 5 hours, she started blowing north. Or she started blowing across the Pacific Ocean. And it's shocking. You send in the destitute, they would have died right away. They're spraying that green reagent all over the spot with paper suits on and masks that can't protect anybody from radiation. You can't be protected. Anybody that's even close to this, you're getting hit with gamma shine. You need an 8-foot thick lead suit on, and they still can't protect you. Because you just can't. Former DOE official criticizes UC Berkeley professor for comparing ingestion of radioactive iodine to air travel. Probably Carl Vetter, right? Yeah, Carl Vetter. Goblin. But he works at Berkeley. He's still there. He still's giving lectures. He's still teaching people, right? Because they're going to go out and tell the same lie. That's all Berkeley does. Everybody that graduates from Berkeley is a demon. Everybody graduates from Harvard or Yale or Stanford or Oxford or MIT or Commonwealth. These are demons. They go out into the world and they perpetrate the bullshit and the lie that's been done repetitively. And now it's coming apart on them. All of these people are going to be Harvey Weinsteins. Going to get that same exposure. Military units severely contaminated and their friends and families and loved ones and everybody else is going to abandon everybody in the nuclear industry. Everybody in the nuclear industry is going to be ratted out by their own children, their own neighbors, their own colleagues. 2 radioactives stand by each other, the military unit, in desperation on reactor 3 in the center there. They're going to die shortly later, right? Over 4 million becquerels in major cities. Minnesota, I think they're talking about. They're picking up 30 million one-ton bags of coasters. They want to bring everybody back for the Olympics. Radiation skyrockets to 100 sievers an hour. 3 could kill you in a couple of weeks. 5 will kill you on the spot. 10 will kill you for within a few minutes. 20 will drop you immediately. And people were dropping all over this place. It's an unbelievable betrayal. This is reactor 1, by the way. And so they built the Kevlar sarcophagus with cranes around it to direct the emissions so the homeless wasn't dropping dead, constantly scaring everybody else right away. And then they rolled out people like Rupert Winfield Hayes and CNN and everybody else, we covered this, who fakes being inside of a building that don't even exist, right? And in media, no one holds them accountable. Ernie Gunnarsson doesn't do it. Helen Kellercott doesn't do it. They do the complete opposite. They get mentioned in those articles. And Christopher Busby. Yeah? That's the people who really fucked us, isn't it? The anti-nuclear and Kevin Camps. Right? So Ernie Gunnarsson, Helen Kellercott, Christopher Busby, and Kevin Camps. Those 4 people, they set the fate of the whole planet by they were in a position as the anti-nuclear activists to warn everybody. They've done the complete opposite. They pretended this was real. They sealed our fate, those four in particular, because everybody was directed to them, right? They had this whole network of people on YouTube and everywhere else directing everybody to Arnie Gunners, and they kept putting up his videos to Helen Calicat, to Christopher Busby, and to Kevin Camps, right? Tom Hartman keeps shoving Kevin Camp down everybody's throat and giggling with every time Kevin lies. Tom Hartman's disgusting. A disgusting anti-human pig. Nuclear radiation, most carcinogenic thing that exists. 30 million one-ton bags. Hawaii doctors finding uranium in people's urine. You know why? Because it's real. Hawaii is right there. See that little island right there, just where my finger was pointed? So uranium, just watch how the uranium comes in and hits the mountains, how the model shows uranium hits the mountains of Hawaii, how it splits the cloud. Look at the cloud getting the trailing edge where it's bringing up on the coastline. Oh yeah, Hawaii's okay, Data. Yeah. Scientists test for Fukushima plutonium being transported in the Pacific found to have a high environmental mobility. What is actually contained in releases? Nothing. You can't contain it, rather, you know what I mean? The uranol peroxide hydrogen buckyballs, the sulfur peroxide hydrogen buckyballs, from spraying the salt water on the reactors for 40-something plus days. These are on their own, not counting the chain reaction. These on their own, now that salt water is the animosity equivalent of millions of nuclear bombs went off into our environment. It was the worst thing we could have done. Plutonium detected 25 miles away, all over the village. Something terrible, dreadful happening. Mayor, please don't tell this to the residents. What do you got in all the bags, Mr. Mayor? It's candy for Halloween, dummy. Uranium-234 detected in Hawaii. Right, you remember they were talking about uranium-238 earlier? Now they're talking about 234. They should have been talking about 235 mostly. And 239, plutonium. Because uranium-238 is converted to 239 plutonium, right? Uranium detected in Hawaii, Southern California, Seattle. I don't know, the jet plumes came in. Do you think they're going to hit Seattle and everywhere else? That's what it looks like to me, too, so they're probably right. Detected in Hawaii, Southern California, Seattle. Wait, I got to look at that map again. This is the plume coming in, based upon just xenon 133. All their daughters, and all their daughters, and all their daughters. Melted core cracked the containment vessel. There really is no containment. What are you talking about? There's no vessel. It's gone. You built a structure to trick everybody, deceive everybody, manipulate everybody. The vessel ran up the center of the building. The pools were at the top of the building. The building don't even exist. Oh, yeah, but it looks like they cracked the containment vessel, Dana. Crack your fucking head, I ever cut you. Over 1,000 workers, internal radiation, 10,000 counts per minute. A dead man walking. Dead homeless people walking. These are not Harvard or Yale or Berkeley, Stanford or Carl Vetter or Rod Adams. What are you, stupid? There would be a hazard around the eastern parts of Japan. 60 hours of mission blowing south. Oh, it was a lot more than 60 hours of mission. What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, you had a little bonfire, had some emissions. No, it never went out. It's still burning. This is the xenon all over North America and Japan, Asia, all over the Pacific and Atlantic and the European countries. U.S. government map shows radioactive particles took direct route to Tokyo after Reactor 3 exploded. This was the official map, 24-hour release. Mayor says Tokyo citizens were irradiated. I'm going to have to agree with him. He's probably right. 5 million becquerels a kilogram, no decontamination, but we're expected to eat the food grown there, and they're forced to live there. Because the nuclear industry, right? This is the nuclear industry doing that. Not the Japanese government, this is the nuke industry. This is your local universities doing this. This is your local media doing that. Because they won't come out and tell the truth. We can't find any of them telling the truth. Like, it's really something. Right? They built this building to trick everybody. Right? You see the vents they got there? They done it with homeless and destitute, but mostly by cranes. Now, inside of that, they come out and they said it's like that. Right? They built it so they can come out and pretend that it was like this on the inside and the media ran with it, right? Nobody would dare tell the truth. Minnesota, 10 million becquerels. 55 is an evacuation zone. Just going there once is a death sentence down the road for you and your children. Do you think that's going to change because you picked up 30 million bags? Really? Think giving me 6 gag orders is going to change the equation? And then these people were abandoned. They were irradiated too, see? U.S. Department of Energy Labs Northwest declined to make the nuclear fallout records or results public. Now they were paid to do it. You paid them, you gave them that job, Carl Vetter, professor, again. So they wrote out, like, this is Discovery Channel, this piece of shit guy, this stupid idiot, this moron. This is Discovery Channel, D News, making fun of everybody. This was Noah's tsunami map. But there's what the real Noah's map of the fallout looks like below, right? They show you the fake reactor instead of the real one, show you the fake maps instead of the real one. That's your legacy because you won't hold them accountable. North America received quite a large fallout, incredible increase in cancer, not just for Japan, but the Northern Hemisphere, because the map over there is real and the reactor is real. Not the fake, not the fake. But how disgusting Discovery Channel rolls out the good-looking little young boys. If you go look at his resume, you'll find out he's got a list of degrees to get that job to be a demon. Incredible list of degrees and schooling and skills to get the job to be a lawyer. So many people competing for the same job, so many lawyers competing for that job at Discovery Channel. The writers obtained secret Tokyo evacuation scenario. Fukushima reactors fail as spent fuel rods melt, mixed with cement and fall into the buildings. And then they roll at the public relation firm to say, no, it looks like that. Nobody bothers saying, well, why'd you pick up 30 million one-ton bags if it looks like that? No, because you're not allowed. Just lawyers only. Lawyers Club. Alarming government report discussed Tokyo exodus and collapse of spent fuel as the reason, right? So it collapsed. It's gone. But they didn't evacuate. Olympic athletes and tourists warned they will be in danger from Tokyo elevated radiation levels. Cesium found at almost every venue found. Yeah, but see, you can't find that same Geiger counter. You're not going to find plutonium or americium or neptunium or the strontiums or the curiums, which is the biggest byproduct and actually plutonium. Government simulation shows radioactive plume of Krypton 85 over Tokyo, March the 15th. Reactor 3 with MOX exploded March the 14th. And picked up 30 million one-ton bags. This is the disaster of all humanity, the entire world. And it's on an international level. Huge consequences, now bigger than anything they can cope with, or we can cope with. And so, with this constant, because the media is captured by inbreeds of the inbreeds of the inbreeds of the inbreeds of the inbreeds before them. They all inbreed with each other, and now we have nothing but goblins in media, universities, and in your government. Nothing but goblins. People that feel they're entitled because their parents were goblins, and their parents were goblins. And their brothers and sisters got jobs being goblins. Their wives and husbands are goblins. Their children are going to school to be goblins. And so that's all they know how to do is be a goblin. A force beyond human control of goblins was unleashed at Fukushima and the world, says former top U.S. nuclear official. It's impossible to stop the radioactive groundwater flowing into the Pacific Ocean. It's not only impossible, but we still got to try, right? Is that not true? Don't we try? We can't just keep abandoning until we abandon the planet because we're not smart enough to work out, we should shut it off. Can't we get smart enough to shut it off? Everyone is being bitten by an invisible snake that will eventually kill them all. Everybody's being bitten by an invisible snake. Is right. This is a visiting professor. They faked the building, and then the reporters faked being inside of it and fed that to everybody. A building that don't even exist, they claimed was beautiful, symmetrical, perfect inside. We took something beautiful and we filled it up with bags of nuclear waste where we have nowhere to put it forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And we claim we have the moral high ground by continuing to perpetrate the lie and the deception, and by destroying everybody's hopes and dreams and the other 8 million species at the same time. How did we get to here? How did we allow this to happen? How can we be that complacent? How can we be that uncaring? You won't find it at my side. We are good people. And so I send my hugs to Leon and Steve and Shanikin 775, your moderator Elaine, and Ann Thirst and Kevin Blanche, one of the true heroes on our planet, and Miss Shadow, who stood the test of time now, is fighting back with her wonderful son Joe, and everybody that raised their head in indignation and said no more, never again, not me, not my friends, not my children, not my loved ones, no more of the deception, no more lies, no more being silent, no more bowing down and licking the boots, no more, ever, forever. Now I will take back my planet. I will fight for the 8 million species to have some future. I will fight for their children out there that are destroying us to have a future away from them, where they can be normal people and not live in shame and humiliation of who their family and legacy is. I don't have that issue. I wouldn't want it, but I would want someone to stand up for me if I try to change sides. We welcome everybody in the fight. We've been betrayed so many times, we're still willing to try to trust. I think that shows truly who we are. Works for everybody.